while I start the show?
Yeah, we're starting it right now.
Yeah.
All right.
It's begun.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be opening up a bottle of champagne,
Yeah, chocolate champagne.
chocolate champagne.
Yeah.
And my name's Shanae Howard.
Make it chocolate rain today.
Ugh. This is Tommy Shelby, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
God damn it. And this is Ryan Robinson.
What's my name?
Nobbinson.
What is my name?
Ryan Robinson.
Yeah.
I am
Hello.
sleep deprived.
Hello, my name is Ryan Robinson. I am sleep deprived.
God damn.
You're really good at opening that.
Yeah.
You
You need help with that?
I don't know why it's not opening.
You gotta pop the cork.
Yeah. Did you?
No, it's like all one piece.
Yeah, it actually opens from the bottom.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you guys.
Didn't know. There's instructions right there, bud. No, not right there.
At
Right
the
there.
ingredients. Yeah, so hi, this is my show.
There we go. Hey, I succeeded.
Yeah. You can.
It was Ryan's birthday, so he got these candies.
Yeah. Tell them how old I am, Tom.
35.
I'm 35 years old.
God,
How about that?
gross.
That's kind of gross.
You know, Shanae, you'd be so. Hold on.
I didn't wear a hat this week. You can really see my receding hairline.
Oh yeah, my hat.
I don't think so. I
This area?
don't think it's that bad.
Tom, go get
I've
my
seen worse.
fedora.
You can just wear it next episode.
Okay.
Ugh,
I got a fedora for Christmas from my
Why?
girlfriend's dad.
It's very funny to me.
ugh.
So he calls her last week.
I don't think it stays in there, dude.
It says on the instructions it does. He calls her last week
Yeah,
It-
that's me. I'll fix it.
and says, "I got Ryan a Christmas gift, but I don't think he'll like it." And she was like, "Why won't he like it?" And he was just like, "You'll see."
You'll see.
And then on Christmas on
Fuck it.
yeah, fuck it. Lay it down like a cornucopia. There you go.
Yeah.
And on Christmas, he hands me this bag, and like it's really light, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I open it, and then there it is. This is the fedora.
Yeah.
And Tom asks me, what was your first thought when you saw it? And my thought was, I gotta wear this or he'll be really hurt. So I wore it all night.
Yeah.
It's like a size too big though. But you know,
Well, it's so you can grow
Maybe-
into it.
Yeah.
God, I was gonna make the same joke.
yeah. But I'll wear it. You know, it's a nice gift, and I feel really appreciative because no significant other's dad has bought me a Christmas gift before, so I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that is really nice.
Yeah. So that was my Christmas. That's all. That's what I got for Christmas.
What about you, Tom? Anything good?
Well, gaming related, I got Death Stranding. So I've been playing
Ooh.
around with that.
What do you think so far?
I'm only about 2 hours in, but so far I like it a lot.
I think I'm gonna wait till we get our new TV and then play it, because right now our TV is just
Black and white.
too small
Oh.
and like
Red and green.
it's not crisp enough to really read stuff very well.
Sure, sure.
And like I've had problems with like every game that I play on there with like the color, the saturation, like everything
Yeah.
being red. So I think I'm gonna wait and then play it.
Yeah, Death Stranding.
Tom told me a lot of really interesting things about that game last night.
Well, I thought you wanted nothing spoiled.
I mean,
Oh,
and
but Tom
then,
can do it.
I bought Untitled Goose Game for the kids. They've been playing that. Bailey already beat it. Apparently, it's like a one-sitting game. So that's pretty cool. I'll get around to that at some point this week. And that's about it. Oh, I bought Max Payne 1 and 2.
yeah, those games are really great.
Yeah.
Have you played them yet?
I started Max Payne 1.
Yeah, they're really fun, and it's got that Remedy storytelling that you like. But Max Payne 3 not so much because it wasn't made by them, but it's still really cool. Like it a lot.
And that's about it.
Yeah. What about you, Shanae?
I already told y'all before the show, but me and Berto bought new bed stuff. I also got gifted
All the better to bone you with.
Yeah.
obs, and then Fire Emblem Three Houses for the
Yeah.
Switch,
What
which
do you-
I've been playing a lot of.
What do you think of that game?
I'm
Oh,
almost
what-
done with my first playthrough.
Also, what house? are
Damn,
you?
really?
Oh, yeah. No, since I didn't sleep very much last night, I just played a lot of that.
That's rad.
And I took a mental health day Friday, so I'm playing a lot of it.
Shanae, what house are you?
I first playthrough.
Run's house.
I'm doing Black Eagle. Next one, I'm doing Golden Deer, and then I'm gonna finish it Blue Lion. I might go back and replay Black Eagles, but I don't know.
That's 3 playthroughs, Shanae.
It's called Three Houses.
Black Eagles?
That's a pretty cool name. I would probably choose them on name alone.
Yeah. You should do the Blue Barracudas.
Yeah,
What is it? The green iguanas or
Yeah, Silver Monkeys.
yeah.
what was it, purple?
I don't know. Eggplants.
Yeah, the purple eggplants.
But yeah, so I've been playing that, and then I also got some AirPod Pros recently.
Profesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a game changer.
Have they literally changed your games?
Yeah, they really have.
How's that? Can you
They-
hook them up to stuff besides your iPhone, or is
Yeah.
it just iPhone? Because I don't know how I don't know how Apple accessories works. So I don't know if they only work with
I'd
Apple.
imagine they're just Bluetooth
Oh,
headphones.
yeah.
So I would assume anything with Bluetooth, you could probably hook them up to.
Yeah, they work best with iPhone.
I see.
As long as
there's-
it has iPhone 13 or later,
Because they've got that
Mm.
that software stuff.
Mhm. and
That's
it
cool.
like can interact with my Apple TV as well.
hmm
And yeah, no, that's so. Been growing my apple orchard.
Yeah. Guys, can I tell you about a game that I've been playing? Because I really want to tell you guys about it.
Go for it.
Well, Tom already saw it last night, but I've been playing a game called Black Future 88. And it's
Give me the synopsis.
okay. So, all right. So basically, from what I understand, in the year 1988, there's a nuclear apocalypse, and then people stop keeping time, so it's always the year 1988. And suddenly, mysteriously, a giant living tower emerged from the ground, and these people are trying to traverse it for reasons I don't completely understand. But it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of like really good shooting in it. It's basically a roguelite. It's probably my favorite roguelite that I've played in a very long time. And it's got I think like 5 playable characters, and each of them have different attributes. Some of them have more health, but some of them have less health but find more ammo and have better guns and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Some of them have like little abilities, like one of them can slow down time, stuff like that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. It's basically a game that I've been playing like pretty nonstop since I got it. And I've been waiting for it to come out for like 2 years. So when it finally came out, I was really excited. And it's got really great music in it, which is a big plus for me.
Nice.
And it's got a DeLorean, which is also cool. Black Future 88. I like it. It's on
Check it out.
It's only on computer only, I think. I don't know if it's on any other platform. I think it's only on computer.
Yeah, it's a computer exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive to your computer.
Yeah.
Coming
Have
to-
either of you watched the new Witcher on?
No, I don't do that.
no.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
Here's
Shanae?
the thing. I
Yeah.
haven't watched, like, I've never played The Witcher. I've never read The Witcher, so it's
Hello,
just
Witcher.
not my thing.
I never have. I only played a couple hours of The Witcher 3. Never read the books, but I really enjoyed the series. And Berto played a lot of the series, so it was really fun having him explain like who these people were in the other stories, because he knows that it's based off the books more than the games. I don't know.
I guess
love the
my
series.
question about the show, my main question about the show, is how often do you get to see Henry Cavill's dick?
You don't get to see his dick because it's on Netflix.
They show dicks on Netflix.
Yeah, dude.
Which shows show dicks?
I've seen dicks on Netflix.
I don't know.
I
I mean,
d-
you see butt.
My main thing about shows and movies and stuff based on books is you're always gonna run into that person who always wants to start a conversation with, well, if you've read the books, and then they got to tell you how much they know about the books. I just want to watch my damn TV show.
I don't know. It was really good. I think you should check it out.
How many episodes is it?
8.
How long is each episode?
Like a little less than an hour. I think like 45 minutes.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it.
Uh, Henry Cavill's just so attractive. Just so
Yeah,
attractive.
he's a handsome dude.
Like, I've never been attracted to him before until this, and I'm just like, he's so good looking.
Is it okay for you to say that stuff?
Yeah.
Now that you're nuptialized?
Yeah, no, Birdo's there, and I just keep saying how hot he is.
How hot Birdo is, or
No,
how
how Henry Cavill is as Geralt.
What if you came home one day and Berto had prepared his hair to look that way?
I'd be so down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he
Super-
would look kind of
I
ridiculous.
want the, but only if he has like the yellow contacts as well.
Yeah, sure.
I think that would. Oh man, the more Witcher stuff you add to Birdo, the more ridiculous he looks.
Yeah.
But that's what you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, man. I mean,
that's what yucks me yums.
sure.
But I was gonna say because Reddit's been going crazy about him because apparently he played the Witcher games before he ever like auditioned for this
Oh
role.
my god.
And he's like part of the PC Master Race.
Oh my! Don't say master race on our show, Shanae.
Yeah.
I feel like with a silly voice, it's obviously I'm being super sarcastic about it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd heard that as well.
And it's
That's,
just like, okay, so the dude plays video games. Okay, so the dude studied the source material kinda. All right, I play video games too.
But you're not.
Nobody gives a
an
shit that I
actor.
play video games.
That's true. No one cares about that, Ryan.
You know, like he gets all these
The people
pats.
who listen to our show care.
No, they don't. They'd prefer he'd stopped.
You know, I don't get any pats on the back. I played Witcher before. Whatever.
I don't know.
I did not play The Witcher.
Get that jawline. Maybe then they'll care.
I don't know. I think that's dumb. Like,
I don't know. People also liked it when Vin Diesel played the Triple X games, or was it part of the fandom or whatever,
Yeah, well,
or the Chronicles of Riddick, whatever.
you know, people weren't so kind to Ben Affleck when he played Batman. but
Yeah,
he
they were
knows
really-
a lot about Batman.
yeah, they were really mean to him.
Yeah.
And he knows a lot about Batman, and no one gave a shit because they thought his movie was bad.
Yeah.
And you know what? It wasn't even that bad.
I was like, it wasn't great.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great.
I'm just saying, it's like, what's the difference between him knowing a lot about Batman and playing Batman, and Henry Cavill knowing something about The Witcher and playing The Witcher?
Because Henry Cavill does it really well.
I don't know. He was a good Batman too. Ben Affleck, I mean.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Did y'all see the new Star Wars movie?
No, I was supposed to, but we ended up not going that day.
Hmm.
I will be seeing it soon, though.
I want to hear your assessment after that.
I know everybody doesn't like it. I honestly don't care.
No, I mean, I have different.
why don't people like it?
I haven't looked into that yet because I want to see it first.
Sure.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna say why people don't like it, because then you're gonna like just kind of notice it.
Yeah. You know, honestly, a lot of the time with things where, because I mentioned this before, like about certain video games, like when certain people say this game in the series is bad,
Yeah.
and like I play it, and then but I also don't know like enough about that stuff to know why it's bad.
Sure.
And I feel very much like I could watch that movie and be like, that was a fine time, and not understand why people hate it. And I think it's just because I'm not that close to Star Wars to know that stuff.
Well, I'll say more whenever y'all have watched it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Is Oscar Isaac still there?
Poe Dameron.
Yeah, is he still there?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm very much in.
So this show we're talking about Game of the Year.
Is there a horn sound on that thing?
Let's see here.
Okay.
There, that fits.
That's close enough, right?
Yeah, that fits. That
Yeah.
fits. So, have you thought about your game of the year, Shanae?
I've thought about a couple different Game of the Years. I think my personal of like the games that I played, and for me as Game of the Year, is obviously Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
I was really excited for it to come out. I enjoyed playing it. I'm excited about the DLC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it felt really good to play that. It felt really good to have another like chronological or numbered, I guess, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I was super stoked about it. Other people had complaints. I thought it was a fun game.
Yeah. I think when you're like really into a series and you've been waiting for the next installment for that long, like obviously that's going to be up there, right? Unless it's like garbage,
Yeah.
which obviously it wasn't.
Not for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I guess again, this is another one of those instances where I'm not close enough to it to know like what people didn't like. What is it that people didn't like about that game, and what was your reaction to that same stuff?
A lot of people said it wasn't hard enough, which fair, but proud mode
Proud.
wasn't always a thing in 2 when it first launched. I mean, it's just pretty common for it later to go like add more fights and more and a harder difficulty later.
Sure.
So I felt like that was a pretty moot thing to be like upset about. Another thing that people didn't like is some of the level designs on some of the worlds, which fair. There's a couple of them that are pretty barren, but and especially when you compare them to the other 2 like numbered games,
Yeah.
and even like to the other, I guess, non-numbered games, a lot of those worlds are even better than. I'm just gonna say it, the Frozen world. The Frozen world is pretty bare.
Imagine it would be.
Lots of snow.
Yeah, but there's just like things that they could have done to kind of beef it up, like as far as actual level design,
Yeah.
because it's like one bare location after another, and then there's like an ice labyrinth where there's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like not really like it doesn't have a really good flow. Didn't ruin
So-
it for me. Some people love the gummy. Some people hated it.
What is the gummies again?
The gummy ship. It's like how you fly around and do stuff.
Right.
I thought, and I know a lot of people thought that it was an improvement. Some people just hated it.
Yeah.
Um,
But I've heard a lot of people that really liked it,
yeah,
Like a lot of people.
yeah. I mean, say overall, it was positive, but there's people who would just like nitpick stuff.
Like, so Maddie Myers was talking about it on Split Screen, and she basically said, like, if you're a fan of the first 2 games, this feels very much like a game from that time. But, like, if that's what you're here for, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess I can't imagine like because I feel like if you like Kingdom Hearts, are you not in the mood for more Kingdom Hearts? You know what I mean?
I'm always in the mood for more Kingdom Hearts.
I was wondering though, like, because you said that there are people who didn't like that. Like they said it was too easy.
Mhm.
Is the focus of Kingdom Hearts has it been is it the challenge, or I always thought it was, but from as an outsider looking at it, like it always seemed like it was more about
Story.
the story than anything.
Well, I think another thing that people didn't like is they got rid of the Hercules Coliseum, so there wasn't those difficult like fights.
I see.
And so I do feel like that was a little bit lacking. I mean, they did have a Hercules world where you could see more, and I thought that was cool. But I do see, like, it would have been nice to have that there, because like the whole big thing with, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, where Sephiroth was like stupid, ridiculous hard. I mean, both of them he wasn't fun, but one was much easier than the other.
Mhm.
I can't remember which one right now. But Sephiroth. Yeah,
Does that song loop while you're fighting him?
a little bit
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that's missing, which is fair,
Mhm.
but also didn't ruin it for me. But there's just like always been like a certain fights that were difficult, but never
Yeah.
anything like the entire gameplay was difficult.
I thought those attractions looked cool. I thought those.
Oh
The
yeah,
train?
that was a lot of people.
And the swing thing.
Yeah,
A lot of people
Really
got annoyed
cool.
with
The
those.
teacups. I thought they were
I
awesome.
thought that was really
They're
cool.
fun for a while, but then whenever you're trying to do a different thing and then it prioritizes
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
attraction,
Are
that's
they
where I got annoyed.
random, or can you do a specific one?
So they are for each like area, and I think it's like specific enemies. No, it's just for each area. And
Did you play this game, Snare?
yeah, I'm also just running on very little sleep. My brain broke. But you couldn't. But you can at least turn off the attractions, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, just turn them off.
I can't imagine turning them off.
Yeah.
They're real pretty to watch. And that Toy Story world looked awesome.
It was.
The mech.
Yeah, those were fun. Some of that was really, really difficult.
Like I've considered just doing like just getting caught up on the story and then jumping straight into 3.
Well, I can catch you up on that
But-
story.
Well, you were supposed to do that like months ago and you never did.
What
so
happened?
Okay.
Your balls drop
Ball.
off.
It's a Dark Knight reference.
Yeah.
That's
a good pick, I think.
For me, that's definitely
Especially considering how long you've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
And for it
dude.
to come out and like not only
It's
not disappoint you, but be your game of the year. That's really awesome.
was also the first midnight launch I've been to for me in a very long time.
Mhm.
Did you go in costume?
No.
I haven't done midnight launch since the Switch.
Yeah, I didn't even do that.
Yeah.
I haven't done a midnight launch since Skyrim, and I really regretted being there.
And before Switch, it was 3DS.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You had a trend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Skipped over Wii U.
Well, I mean, as I learned more about that console, I wish I had bought one at the time, mostly for Virtual Console. But yeah,
I don't know. I'm glad that you liked it as much as you did, because I feel like having to wait that long for something and having it come out and disappoint you would be really heartbreaking. And I'm glad that that game has made you so happy. I don't think I can ever play it, only because I don't think I can wrap my mind around all that stuff. But listening to you talk about it is really nice.
We'll do an episode about it.
I just feel like you and I have played enough games series that have like really weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
stories
I don't like
that,
my
like-
my brain has a finite amount of space, Tom.
Yeah, I just feel like if you could wrap your head around Metal Gear and Resident Evil and all that, I don't think Kingdom Hearts is that bad.
I could wrap my mind around. We need to get rid of those nukes. All right.
Sure.
I don't think I can wrap my mind around.
Or you need 13 different versions of this one boy.
Right.
No, sorry, 7 different versions of this one boy, and then 13 different versions of this enemy.
Yeah.
And all the games culminate to that.
Wait, how many different boys are there?
Well, it's one boy, 7 different versions of him.
Do they ever meet?
They like kind of communicate.
How?
Depending on which kind, because some are like.
Oh, you were supposed to leave this on, then it would stick in there,
What is that?
the top part.
I see. Good job,
well,
Shanae.
You'll let me do this.
I understand.
Because like some are his like shadow, some are his. One of his is his heartless. One is his nobody. One is this other boy who put his heart into him, and then so his heart also went into the other boy.
That's a lot of boys already.
Yeah. Oh, there's a virtual boy.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Do they call him Virtual Boy?
No.
Oh.
Recoded is basically they put him in. He's like losing his memories, and so
I
they
see.
put him in like a virtual scape to like relive him.
Hence Recode.
Recoding.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also like your nobody for a while lives in a virtual world while he like heals up
Yeah.
in there, and then it's gonna restore or OG Sora's. Yeah, it's
OG
It's a lot.
Saurus Rex.
OG Sora's Rex.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
I'll just What about you guys? What's your own personal game of the year?
For me, it definitely comes down to either Baba Is You or Control. I know they're like very different games.
I'm surprised Nier Automata's not up there.
Well, it wasn't out this year, and I played it not this year.
Oh.
You know, I'm doing games that came out this year.
So
Hence,
you,
game of the year.
you can go ahead and continue, Tom. It's all right.
You know what I mean, Shanae?
Mm.
You know what a year is? You know what a game is?
Shanae,
I've heard of them.
Do you know where you are right now?
Like Baba Is You. I like puzzle games, and Baba Is You reminds me of things like Portal, when you play Portal for the first time, or when you play like The Witness for the first time. I think like where it's just like, here's something you've never done in a video game before,
Right.
you know, and it's done in really, really smart ways. So yeah, it's just fantastic.
I like the way that it lets you change its rules, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole mechanic.
And I
you
think
know?
that's so neat.
But probably Control. Control like scratches that Metroid Prime itch without with doing away with some of the more annoying things of Metroid Prime,
Yeah.
like scanning and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And also giving you a bit more customizability.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that even though everybody's playing Jesse Faden, like
There's different builds. And
you can build her differently
Yeah.
in very interesting ways. There's skills that you can just go through the whole game and never get. The game gives you a lot of options as far as quests, like what you want to take on and what you don't want to take on. And the side quests are like a big thing with me is side quests in games just being fucking boring and lame.
Yeah.
And like some of the most interesting content in Control is its side quests. It's a great story, well written, well acted. Like the actress that plays Emily Pope and the actor that plays Casper Darling are like phenomenal. It's just fantastic. It's a great game.
I was telling
The
Tom.
brutalist architecture is like super cool. Like, yeah.
I was telling Tom that, like, I don't really like when stuff is weird for the sake of being weird, but the cool thing about Control is it's a very specific kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I can't really describe it, but because you kind of if you play it, you immediately know what I'm talking about.
Like it's intentional rather than gimmicky.
Yeah, because like there's this whole like world and like mythos built around it, and it's just so neat. And like seeing like coming across like redacted documents and just when you're reading a document and like you look at the black bars in the document, and then for me like my mind like just goes all these different places, like what's under there, like what is this object of power about, like what is it that like they didn't want people to see. And that's just like that game is one of those games I think that like it really makes my imagination like kind of run off. And it's just like the oldest house is just this whole neat environment like throughout.
One of my favorite things about it, and I can't think of like hardly any other games that do this, is it makes the studio's previous games better.
Yeah.
Like I already love their previous games, but like its story and the way it ties into those games makes those games better games.
Right.
And I think that's really cool.
And I think that like, and it's just it's one of those games that I think kind of it makes me. You ever like ingest a piece of media that like makes you look at things in the real world a little bit different, and that like because one of the first things you see when you enter the bureau is like they have all these rules about like stuff that you can't bring into the building, and like one of them is smartphones, and then it's just like, and then it's just one of those innocuous things like no smartphones, no iconic objects like rubber duckies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it just makes it's just so cool to like look at innocuous objects and be like, that could be an object of power, and like, and people just don't know it, That's really neat. And I like stuff like that.
The gameplay is great. Like it's not an easy game.
Yeah.
It becomes an easy game as you gain more powers and abilities and stuff like that. But like, it's not an easy game. I watched Ryan play it for the first time. He's dying left and right.
To be fair, I was up for 24 hours at that
That's
point.
true. That is true.
But it is.
The gunplay is good.
Yeah,
like, the
and
combat is good.
When you
have
get
to move
good at
constantly.
when you get good at balancing the
Yeah.
powers with using your gun, it makes you feel really cool.
Yeah, like it's fantastic. It's got its problems for sure, but like it's easily one of my favorite games of this generation.
There are no boring characters in that game, and I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
I got 3 of them.
That's not how Game of the Year works.
Well, guess what, Shanae? This is our fucking show, and we can make up the rules as we go if we want. So I got 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait for Tom to get back before I start, though.
The first game, threes.
I never played 3s, Tom. So what do you want to do till Tom gets back?
Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da.
All right, Tom's back.
Da-da-da-da-da.
All right, what's that, Tom?
It's water.
Oh, cool. Cool little
Yeah.
is that Koopa Kids on there?
Yeah.
It is.
Neat.
Koopa Kids.
All right, so I got 3 GOTYs. All right.
Okay.
And this is in no specific order, okay?
Okay.
But it's a very specific order.
Okay. All right. Monster Hunter World Iceborne. That's the first one I'm going to mention.
Oh, by the way, Birdo's getting into Monster Hunter right now.
Is he doing it on the PlayStation 4?
No PC.
Then
Mm.
he and I have nothing to talk about.
You c-
I could tell.
It's not cross-platform.
No, it'd be cool if it were, but it ain't. And they don't roll out the updates simultaneously across all platforms, so he's always gonna be behind.
Mm.
But anyway, so Monster Hunter World Iceborne is it's one of those. It's the first and only DLC for Monster Hunter World, in that it adds a completely new continent and new monsters. Not all new monsters. Like, a lot of the monsters are also from previous entries in the series, but it's just so like like the amount of stuff in that is just so massive that it felt like playing a whole new Monster Hunter game. And,
Yeah, it's a lot of content for sure.
and it was just, and like new mechanics, new monsters, new environments, like all of that just melded so well together, and also blends seamlessly into the base game in a way that's just like, it's just really awesome.
I saw Birdo playing a mission as the Witcher.
Yeah, so that was before Iceborne.
I was like, is that the DLC or has that just always been in the game?
No, that was before Iceborne. It was an event that
Oh.
like they do a lot of like cross promotional events. Like, they've done Street Fighter, they've done
Mega Man.
they've done Mega Man, they've done Resident Evil.
But Witcher's the only non-Capcom one, right?
I think no, they did
Devil May Cry.
Horizon Zero
Oh,
Dawn.
you're right. Yeah.
So like but basically, like, ironically, like, the Witcher being a monster hunter and all, he's like his stuff is like the least fun thing to do.
Yeah,
because
Birdo
it's
was
just,
getting really annoyed with it.
well, because it's weird, because they try to put, like, they try to make like stuff from the Witcher work in Monster Hunter, and it just doesn't, and it's just weird. But anyway, like, the cool thing about Iceborne is it just keeps building, like, they just keep building on top of it.
Yeah.
They just keep iterating on top of it in like such a really cool way. And with the new tools that you get, like, you get a clutch claw, which is like just that tool completely changes how you play the game. Whereas it allows you to, like, grapple onto monsters and, like, do special attacks with that, or also, like, make them slam themselves into a wall and stuff like that. And it's just really neat.
Yeah, I remember I recently listened to a podcast, somebody talking about that specifically, saying that, like, thinking of Monster Hunter without that now is kind of weird.
It is, because as soon as, like, the moment that mechanic entered into the game, it becomes such a part of how you approach every hunt.
You know?
And, like, it's weird to think about it, because, like, there were so many other hunts that I did before that became a thing, and now I can't imagine, like, doing those hunts without engaging with that mechanic.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary, like, by any means, but at the same time, it enhances the experience, like, so much. But, like, the amount of content and, like, the scope of it is just so great. And also some of the best snow I've seen in video games in a while, so I like that. I like good snow. But I've put 900 hours into Monster Hunter World in total, and by the time Iceborne came out, I'd had maybe like 700 hours into it, and to have a game make me feel like the game is brand new again at 700 hours in is really awesome. My next one, Mortal Kombat 11. I think.
It made you like fighting games.
Well, no, I liked fighting games before. In fact,
Well, made you want to be good at them.
I think it made me take them more seriously in a lot of different ways. But, like, it came about at the perfect time for me, I think, because, gosh, I'd say about the year prior, Tom had bought me Street Fighter V for the computer, and that was around the time I decided I really wanted to get into fighting games, like, seriously. And then, when I was really, really thinking about, like, how I can be better at them, Mortal Kombat 11 comes along, and it's And for me, like I know that there are people who are kind of detractors of that game because it has a slower pace than the previous games, but it's for me it was I for me it seems like it took a more it felt more deliberate in a way that I found really satisfying. Um, and it was it was one of the first fighting games that made me feel like it really made me feel like I was getting better. Like I really felt like I felt like I could track my progress pretty consistently as I was playing the game. Um, and it gives you. There are other games that tutorialize themselves better than Mortal Kombat 11 does, but Mortal Kombat 11 also taught me things that other fighting games that I had played didn't, and gave me and helped me like utilize the tools in the game better than other fighting games that I had played.
But things specific to Mortal Kombat or universal?
Just
to the
universal,
fighting games?
just universal concepts.
Yeah.
And some stuff that was specific to Mortal Kombat, but mostly like universal fighting game concepts.
Such as?
Such as moves being safe and unsafe, like keeping track of startup frames and things like that, which is something that like I had never really taken that much into account before playing that game, and now that's something that like I'm always looking at. And I've since kind of moved on from the game, but at the same time, it left this really huge impact on me. I've made friends because of that game. I've become more engaged with like the fighting game community as a whole. I feel because of that game, and also gave me characters that like I really felt were like for the first time like Mortal Kombat characters that I felt were like really really awesome versions of themselves that like I hadn't seen in, like previously. Like some of my favorite versions of like classic Mortal Kombat characters are in that game, and it's just the first fighting game that I really, really felt like I was good at. I'm sure that I'm not pro or anything. I'm not going to be winning any majors anytime soon, but like it made me feel good, and that like it made me feel like I can actually be competitive in fighting games, and that was really important to me.
And number 3.
Yeah, so Resident Evil 2 remake.
That was definitely on my list, but
Such an amazing fucking game. Like I think I had remarked on this previously, but like I remember 20 years ago when the original version of that game came out, and the kind of impact that it had on me then. And this game comes out, and it really made me feel the way I felt back in 1998. Like, it really made me feel that way. Like, the way that Capcom made it feel, like, they updated it in all the right ways. Like, they updated this game in all the right ways, but, like, also, that game still feels like, it doesn't feel like it's a departure from what it was originally. They made it to where I wouldn't be scared to play Resident Evil 2, the original, like now, but they made Resident Evil 2 scary to me again, and that was really important. And granted, it's really easy to scare me in video games, but like, and half of me doesn't like being scared, but the other half of me like is really entertained by it.
yeah.
And the fact that like that game is able to maintain that like throughout the entire game was really impressive. And they made these characters seem like they don't feel out of place. They don't feel like like tacked on versions of those classic characters. They felt even more real than they felt before. And like Tom has pointed out, when that game first came out, like they talk to themselves as things are going on. Like they're trying to like psych themselves up. Like when Leon first gets to the police station, and he's just walking through that dark hallway, and he's trying to psych himself up, like with, "Come on, you can do this."
Yeah.
Which is like it's like, it seems so innocuous.
There's a lot of stuff like that.
But it's just so impactful.
when the character is using a flashlight and reloading a gun, they have to hold it with their
Yeah.
neck like you would have to do, but like no games do that.
Yeah,
You know.
and like
And it's a small thing, right?
Yeah, and
it's
like
all the
you-
small things. Like
yeah,
that's what that is.
yeah,
But
like
yeah.
but the cool thing about that game is like it's a collection of all these small things making this really great larger thing.
I'll-
Go ahead.
I wasn't say it, Shanae.
All the
There you go.
small things.
All right, you got
Okay.
it out.
Yeah,
Are you done?
Okay.
I feel good.
'Cause I'm in the middle of my game of the year thing here.
Okay.
To be fair, you've had 3 of them.
I have hey,
Also, you're on the third one. It's near the end. It's
Yeah.
not the middle. It's not how it's not
Sure,
works.
sure. I feel you, Shanae.
Sure.
I feel you.
sure. I mean, I was really polite during yours, but Shanae, have you played a Resident Evil game before?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get a chance to play Resident Evil 2 remake?
Nope.
I think that
I watched y'all play it.
I don't know how comfortable you are with like third person shooters or stuff like that, but
I'm for the most part pretty okay as long as
Yeah.
they're not like super fast paced.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I'm
not.
I'm not
It's-
playing online anymore because I'm just done with that shit.
yeah. Well, I think that honestly, you should. I think that you should consider giving Resident Evil 2 a chance because that's a game that I think that even people who aren't really that into shooters or aren't really into like survival horror games, I think that they should. I think a lot of people can benefit from playing that game.
Well, so far the only Resident Evil game that I haven't like enjoyed my entire time playing it was 5
Mm.
because I played a little bit of that without another person
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Shiva, whatever her name is,
Mhm.
Sheva Olimar.
hate her,
Olimar.
hate her.
She's a Pikmin.
I hate Oliver.
Yeah.
When the computer's controlling her, it's
Sure.
much better when somebody else.
Well, that game is also a lot more in your face constantly than Resident Evil 2 is.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like I would be trying to like turn dials and do challenge stuff, and she would just go
you have a
behind me
really
and
hard
like
time
and
with
like
dials. I
and
know
like
that.
I'm just like go fuck yourself. Stop moving the things.
The only thing I will caution you against, Shanae, with Resident Evil 2 is that there is a combination lock in there.
But it doesn't work the way real combination locks work.
So I think you might be all right.
Okay.
So I think like Resident Evil 2, it's really good, right? But like I think about Remake 1, and like Remake 1 replaces Resident Evil 1 to me, and to its creators. You know,
I think to pretty much everyone who's played it.
yeah, it's
the definitive version of that game.
there's no reason to play 1 again.
Why would you?
And I think Resident Evil 2 does a lot of the same things. Like Resident Evil Remake 2 does a lot of the same things that Remake 1 did, as far as like fleshing out story and making things a bit more believable.
Yeah.
But like
Also-
it does not replace Resident Evil 2 for me. In that like
Why not?
because they're so different, and Resident Evil
It's-
2, original Resident Evil 2 is
Yeah.
still fun to go back to.
Yeah. Whereas remake is so much. It's just like.
I mean, Mikami was like, "This is what we wanted it to be
Yeah.
to begin with," you know.
Yeah.
And I mean that said, like I like the game that Remake 2 is a lot. I like it a lot. But yeah, it's definitely not like. I like that it can stand side by side with the original. You know, to me it does not replace the original.
And it is an interesting thing to compare the two.
Yeah.
Especially the different versions of Chief Irons. One of them is a lot more monstrous than the other.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they're both pretty monstrous.
Yeah.
It's just that the newer version of him is illustrated more graphically.
Also, like the free DLC that they gave out for that game is all really good.
Yeah,
Really fun. And yeah, it's a cool game.
yeah.
It's a cool game. It does not scare me, but
Nothing
you
really
know.
scares
Nothing
you that
scares
much,
you.
though, Tom. Like
You're too brave.
I've never seen you be moved by horror in any way.
PT's scary to me.
Yeah, it's scary to me too.
Silent Hill 2 is scary to me, you know, but not in a oh my god like that kind of way,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh.
I think the day that I see you jump, because you've told me that stuff has made you jump before, but
Yeah.
I was never around for it.
The original Resident Evil 2 was the first game to scare me.
Oh yeah, because of the liquor in the window.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's great. It's a great game. It was almost my number one, but
What would you say is, in y'all's opinion, doesn't mean that like you've had to play it, but just from like what you've seen and on there, what do you think is like, I guess, the most technically perfect? Like it has like really good. It's like it's very maybe not like completely original, but whatever it does super well.
As far as games that came out this year,
Like they're stand out for their genre.
I'd probably say Sekiro, even though I've not played it. You know, I think that the Souls level design has often been like one of the things that they're most praised for. And it's an old level design, but as far as like third person action games, the way that they did it is very Metroid like, right? Returning it on itself and winding paths and things of that nature. Sekiro does that and then elevates it by giving you verticality.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. The combat seems divisive. Like there's people that like it way better than old Souls games, and there's people that like it a lot less. But I can't see anything that game did wrong. And what's funny is we've since found out that game was intended to be a Tenchu game, which I had always speculated. But they.
If you play it, it will be immediately apparent to you.
And that's something I've been missing for a long time. Yeah. So I do intend to play it at some point. But as far as games I have no familiarity with, like that's seems like it to me. If we're talking like perfect monetarily, obviously it's Call of Duty, right? But yeah.
Well, it's just it is the best video game of all time.
Yeah.
So.
I'd say, did Odyssey didn't come out this year, did it?
Mario?
That was last year.
Yeah, that was last year.
Then probably I'd say Death Stranding. It's the one that made me most like interested in it this year.
Oh, for sure.
And I think like they did a really good job with marketing for it. I think they did a really good job of like obviously the story. And like everything I've seen of it just looks great. I don't see a lot of like problems with it as far as gameplay goes. Some people obviously are expecting more action, so some people are like bored by it. I've heard that complaint. But for what it is at least different. Yeah,
I'd say that's like 2 hours in, right? So just surface level. I'm very much enjoying it, and I agree with most of the points that you made. I think most of the marketing was very good as far as like bringing attention to the game goes. However, I do think they should have in the marketing been more upfront of what the gameplay was, because that is one thing that people are divided on, and a lot of people were disappointed in was the gameplay. Had they known up front that, hey, this is a game where you're going to walk for a long fucking time and not fight very much, I think more people would have been more accepting of that. A lot of people didn't find that out until they bought the game,
Yeah, they did a good job of building hype for it, but as far as actually telling you what it was.
Marketing as far as building hype. But like they also didn't do like a No Man's Sky where they just made promises and didn't
right. No,
follow
absolutely.
through.
Absolutely.
So I think it was
always gotta drag No Man's Sky.
It's the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It's
a perfect example of like people would be less mad about the game if they just were upfront. But I don't know. I like that the point was to create intrigue and like look into it and like want to see the next trailer, want to find out more about it.
For sure. And what I really enjoyed playing it is like every trailer for that game is like within the first 2 hours of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not like, it's not spoiling anything. Nothing you've seen in those trailers is a spoiler,
As someone who has played 0 hours of Death Stranding, like just on a surface level, that game is really nice looking.
Yeah.
But I listen to people talk about that game, and I talk like specifically the way they engage with both the gameplay and the story. And at the very least, I feel like that game is interesting. And I think that's the biggest thing about it is that it seems like I see people who are just really excited to like do what you're doing in that game, and which is interesting because like I think that there are a lot of other scenarios where if someone said you're delivering packages, then people might not be into it. But like there seems to be so much other stuff around that activity that it kind of makes it more interesting.
You also deliver a pizza or two.
Am I on the mark here?
I mean, it's all opinion, right? But like when when Kojima comes out and says I've created a new genre, I think that's very pretentious.
Oh,
But like I can't think of another game that's like this game, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there is like delivery and walking sims.
I mean, yeah, Paperboys existed forever, right?
Yeah,
But like
it's not the same.
it's not the same thing. you know?
It's one of those things. Is like when I think about like, oh my, I never remember the actual name. Dead Don't Ride.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Like you can sum up like, oh, it's like it's a horde zombie game.
Right.
Like any of these other like ones that are like people are like, oh, like it's not something. It's original IP
Yeah.
Right.
that has come out this year. Everything else I can think of falls in a category like battle royale, like whatever.
Right.
And like, you can say this is a simulator game, I guess.
Yeah, you could call it a
Simulating
stealth
something.
game, and you wouldn't be wrong, you know. But like, yeah, the combined pieces of this game, there's really nothing like it.
Yeah.
And like I said, in 8 hours, maybe I'll fucking hate that.
Sure.
But right now, I'm liking it. You know.
It's a really cool thing, and I'm glad. For better or for worse, I'm glad that game exists.
Mm?
And I look forward to eventually trying it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Silence your phones.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's my mom.
Oh, answer it. Put her on the show.
No.
All right. Well, I'm done talking about Death Stranding.
Oh, you got anything that you think was like really well
Uh,
done this year?
shit.
Kudos to Devil May Cry 5. That game looks awesome,
It does look really cool.
and I think definitely exceeded Capcom's expectations.
Yeah.
Also, I want to play Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, that game looks real cool.
I've been thinking about buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game looks really neat.
I mean, it's gonna be after I've finished Fire Emblem.
Sure. But like even as like I'm a pretty casual like Star Wars fan. Like they're like, but I feel like even still that like even without the Star Wars stuff around it, I still think it looks really cool.
I want to make my own lightsaber.
Yeah, that
Fallen
sounds
Order is like the only game, and I hope that Avengers does this, and I don't think it will.
Uh-huh.
It's the only game
Forgot that
in,
game's still not
in
out yet.
recent history that I had zero interest in,
Yeah.
and now I have a lot of interest in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, even South Park talked about it.
like pre-release, I did not give a shit about that game.
Yeah.
You know, and like once critical reception came out and all that, and like it was actually really good, now I want to play it. And that's not where I'm at with Avengers right now, because that game looks like hot garbage.
That game looks like it fucking sucks. Give us another Wolverine game.
You know, cowards.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't.
And then pop culture. Well, wait, did you have a perfect one that you can think of or no?
A perfect way. Oh no, I don't really have anything.
I want to say like pop culture. What was like most relevant? Maybe not like sold the most numbers, but at least was talked about in the sphere the most. And this one I don't think has to come out this year, mainly because I want to still use what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, as far as stuff that did come out this year, there's part of me that wants to say Pokemon, because Pokemon
Oh yeah.
is always a big thing. And this one was very divisive.
Yep,
but it,
that national
but like,
Dex.
you know, it's still sold like crazy. It's the whole Call of Duty thing. People like to bitch about it, but they still buy it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna keep doing that.
Pokemon is still sold like crazy. And first time we had like a proper console Pokemon. And I think that's really interesting. I think that they did too little with it, and I can understand why. But, you know, I definitely saw and still continue to see a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, there's some people I know that this is the first Pokemon game they've played
Sure.
since like the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, like I didn't want to deal with all those new Pokemon. So like I guess it works better for them. I mean it's still like a fuck ton more than the 151.
Right.
But
Isn't that like at 800 or some shit?
like I think it's like 750.
I see. That's
close.
a lot.
I mean, it's close.
That's a lot, though. You know.
Yeah, it's more than you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
Chill the
catch
fuck
them all
out.
anyway. So.
Chill out.
I mean,
Yeah.
Birdo did.
Well, he caught him. Well, but Birdo's like he's a cream of the crop. He's a league above the rest. So
Yeah.
I understand that.
That's why I wiped that shit up real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, Pokemon, or maybe even RE2. Like, there was a lot of talk for RE2 for a long time. Like, that game came out in January,
Yeah.
and like I still see people talking about that shit. You know.
All right. So I just want to talk about it because I want also to complain about something.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So Fortnite.
What about it?
I know it's been like the popularity started last year, but like it's been pretty fucking crazy this year
Sure.
to the point where there is an event that happened where you got a message that ties the Last Jedi to Rise of the Skywalkers and is put nowhere else besides that game.
Okay.
And in the very beginning of the Rise of Skywalkers, they reference it, but not like obviously it's in Fortnite, but
They
like
say Fortnite.
no, they reference
They
the
reference
message.
that event or
That
whatever.
event.
I see.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
oh wait, hold on. So it's within Fortnite. There's a Star Wars canonical event.
Yes.
Okay. Got
Like
it.
an event that happened that they like talk about in the scrolling text at the beginning of it,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't remember that.
So
But
you got to play Fortnite to get that content.
well, now you can just watch a YouTube video
Sure.
of it. But anybody who has not seen Rise of Skywalkers yet, I guess go look up that message so it makes more sense to you.
That's your nitpick. That bothers you.
Well, it's to the point where it's so popular that like a ridiculously big franchise.
I think that's a good thing, honestly.
I just wish that I had known about it also before I went and saw the movie.
Yeah, I get
so,
that.
So you
I
can
get that.
so you can know it.
But like, because I was like, I guess my memory's shittier than I thought it was.
Oh, because you were like they talked about something that you don't remember.
yeah, and I was like, and so I just kept like focusing on like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I mean, my whole thing is like at this point with Star Wars, it's so difficult to keep track of what Disney has decided to deem canon and uncanon at this point. You know, the expanded lore for that game is fucking crazy, has been for decades, you know, and like
Yep.
there are other IP I can think of, be it a book, a movie, a film, you know, a game, or even some albums that have like canonical things in other media. Like I really don't care. I think it's a good thing that a game can be big enough that a fucking Disney owned property is willing to put something canonical in that game. I think that's good for video games. It speaks to where the industry is at.
I think they also did something for Endgame too
Yeah.
in Fortnite, if I remember right.
Well,
So-
I mean,
something else
Thanos was
Disney
there,
owns.
but yeah,
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, he was there. That looks really cool.
it was actually very cool. As someone who's played zero Fortnite, it was still very
I don't know.
cool.
I think Fortnite's good for video games.
But
it's just me.
I mean, yeah, I think parts of Fortnite are good for video games for sure.
The video game part of Fortnite is good for video games.
But you know, like it doesn't bother me. I would see, like, I get where you're coming from. It would annoy me had I not known that, you know, and seen the film.
Yeah,
But,
like why?
But at this
And,
point,
like-
there's so much, like this entire trilogy, along with the spin-off movies. There have been things that like people don't know if they didn't watch Rebels or they didn't watch Clone Wars or whatever it
a
might
lot
be.
of movies,
You
you
know,
know.
But it's
So-
not. So I haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars, and I have yet to come across the problem when they reference something in the scrolling text
Yeah,
in the beginning of the movie. I'm like, what?
yeah.
And it's launch. I went and saw it on launch night. So or
I mean, to me, that's a Star Wars problem. You know, it's
Yeah.
not a Fortnite problem. That's a Star Wars problem.
well, I didn't say like necessarily I was nitpicking
Yeah.
Fortnite, but I am like nitpicking that scenario.
Sure. No, I totally feel you.
But like as far as that goes, I mean, there's that the kids are winning millions of dollars at these tournaments. It's a big thing.
And that's badass.
It's like it's quickly a household name.
It's good money.
The dances, the videos, all of it's now in cult, like the TikToks and shit are yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like as far as like popular culture goes, I feel like it dominated more than Overwatch, more than probably anything else.
Well, sure, more than Overwatch. Overwatch hasn't been like a big thing for a couple years now, but
Well, I mean, Overwatch took over for a little while where you're seeing
Yeah.
like the ads everywhere and stuff. Not this year, but like
yeah.
I don't know. I just can't think of any, like, I can't think of anything recently that really took over, like, and became a household name, like, since Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like Fortnite is up there, but it's like so hard to quantify as far as the way that their business model is set up. But Pokemon's interesting to me because Pokemon currently, more than Marvel, more than anything Disney, more than League of Legends, Pokemon is currently the highest earning IP of everything.
Can you imagine?
And like I knew Pokemon was popular. I did not know Pokemon was that popular.
Still.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of that is merchandise, I'm sure.
Right.
But like fuck.
20 years later.
More popular than Star Wars. Like, well, I shouldn't say more popular. It makes more money than Star Wars, than Marvel, than Disney, than any of this stuff.
They don't even have a theater.
Yeah, it's
film.
fucking nuts.
Well,
Pokemon's big
they've
business,
had a
man.
theater film.
Yeah, they've had multiple, I believe.
Yeah. One of them even had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot about Detective Pikachu.
yeah, but yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Man.
Anything you think of that we didn't talk about?
Untitled Goose Game. Like I know that didn't have like a huge
yeah,
cultural
but, like,
significance, but I
that-
see a lot
that-
of people talking about that game.
That game has entered the memosphere in
Yeah.
a very
Yeah,
big way. I've seen a lot of goose memes.
it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a lot of memes for it and people talking about it. Like it's as far as gaming Twitter goes, it was
Yeah.
all over that shit for like a month.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's neat.
Yeah.
It's real neat.
So, you want to hear my new segment?
Okay.
Yeah, let's give it a spin.
I like all my titles obviously can be vetoed, but the title for this one, working title, is I Didn't Even Know.
Okay.
And it's things in video games that
That you didn't even know.
you didn't know were there, either for
Yeah.
longer than what it should have taken you to figure out that this is part of the game, like a mechanic,
Oh, because
or you've been like playing it like more difficult. Like,
I thought it was gonna be video game trivia. And I was like, Tom's gonna know it. So.
no, I didn't even know, like, similar, I'm not using this as my actual example, but like,
Sure.
and I've talked about it before in Breath of the Wild, I didn't know that there was like that place to get the hot stuff, because I was like, fuck this main quest.
Right.
And so I just ate all the spicy food and like plowed through this like mountain
Yeah.
in the most difficult way possible,
Yeah.
because I didn't even know that was there, because there's so many things to do in it.
Mhm.
The reason I made me think of it is because I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses,
Mhm.
and I was complaining to Berto. I was like, man, I have to go. This place is massive, and I have to go around all these things, like this monastery that you're in. And I was like, it's just really annoying, and I don't know where people are. And I knew that there was like a map feature,
Mm-hmm.
but I never really like messed with it. And a lot of the stuff that they give you information wise is like, oh, here's a list of things. Now you hit this one point, just go through and read them.
Yeah.
And then I already talked before, my TV doesn't have like the best definition to read it.
Right.
And like sometimes, and like I'm just excited to play more of this game and get to like more of the Fire Emblem stuff. So I guess I just skipped past that part. But like I'm walking for everywhere.
Yeah.
And then like maybe like 5-6 hours into the game, I realized that there's like a run button. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck yeah, there's a run button.
Oh yeah. That's
and
really
then
funny.
like 17, 18 hours in, I realize that there is a quick travel with your map feature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've been bitching.
Because those maps, as the battles unlock, get pretty fucking big in Fire Emblem.
Well, this is like you're in a school and you're a teacher.
Yeah.
And like, so you're just staying in like this one. I mean, yeah, I mean, like it is pretty big. Like I can't remember the last Fire Emblem game I played. I played some of Awakening.
Well, like Awakening's map, right? Like it's just a overworld map, basically. It's a traversal map. There's nothing to it.
Yeah.
But that thing gets so big after a while that even just doing that's a bitch.
Yeah, so this is like you're going through the schools and stuff.
Yeah.
So like you have to go to like the Knights area. There's a cathedral, like all this stuff. And
You
yeah,
didn't even know.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I like
I like this segment.
I
Sinead,
spent
you
so
gotta
many
do that. How
hours
did you even
into
know?
it. I put so many hours into it, and I was like, I don't know if I can make it through 3 playthroughs.
Sure.
Yeah.
If there's no fast travel.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so much running
For
around.
sure.
And I was like, oh, well, I could definitely do 3 playthroughs now.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's funny.
I didn't even know.
I like it.
You didn't even know.
So are we each doing one or just you?
Well, I didn't prep y'all for this ahead of time. So if you can think of one on the fly,
Oh, I
awesome.
got one that
I got
I
one.
still think about sometimes.
I
It's
went in
my
the chamber.
my favorite. I didn't even know that I've ever had. So Saints Row the Third, I really enjoyed. I played a lot of Saints Row the Third. when that
Fantastic
came out.
video game. Best in the
And
series.
I must have been like, I don't know, good 6-8 hours in before I realized you had this whole thing of weird wrestling moves.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You hold the sprint
And I'm
button.
sure the game probably tells you that at some point.
It doesn't actually explain that to you.
But like with games like that, I'm just like, I know how to play an open world
Yeah.
game. You know?
It doesn't actually
Yeah.
explain that to you. You
Yeah.
kind of
Oh.
just discovered on accident.
By the way, the only reason I found out is because when it does loading screens, it gives you like tips and helps and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I went over the map, and it was like, oh, click here, and then
Yeah.
I was like,
I like when games do that, when they give you the hints in the loading screens, you know?
oh, because you know I'm not reading that shit.
Yeah, I didn't know. I played a lot of that game before I even realized I could do any of that stuff. And like, that's such a good thing to find out
Yeah, on accident.
because like, you don't need it at all.
yeah, it doesn't
But
actually
it's
serve a
super
purpose.
fun to like, drop kick some old lady on the street. yeah.
Or like, and like you can also it also works for stealing cars.
Yeah, you can jump through their windows and all that. Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah, so
Saints Row the Third is so fucking cool.
yeah, I didn't even know.
Get that on the Switch,
But
Shanae.
now I know.
Ugh, I have so many things I need to buy.
Saints Row the Third.
Let's
will
change the
supersede
name
all those.
to Knowing is Half the Battle.
All
Yeah.
right, knowing stuff about battle, I'm down for that.
Okay.
So you guys know the game The Getaway?
Yeah.
You know that game?
I have heard of it
Early PS2.
Yeah.
mainly because y'all have talked about it. That's how I know about it.
So there are no med kits in that game to speak of. There's no regenerating health in that game to speak of. Well, not in the traditional sense, right? So there was a section in that game where I was getting killed over and over and over again, and I was like, there's just so many dudes, and I'm getting hit. Like, I don't like, how am I supposed to make it, right? And you can take cover and everything, but they can flank you or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, they don't, like, my health doesn't regenerate. Like, I just go in with
Oh, you've told me about this before.
that I have.
Yeah.
And so, get this. I have never seen this in a video game before or since. Shanae, before I tell you how it works, take a guess at how you heal in that game.
So, Getaway,
Yeah.
how you heal.
Yeah.
Can I have like a hint about the scenario you were going into that you kept dying in? Like,
I was in a warehouse trying to get my boy back.
So, like, you're not in a car at this point.
No.
How would you get your health in a weird way? Trying to get your boy back.
Yeah.
I don't know, like pulling a picture of your boy at it, like. on
That
your
would
wallet.
actually be pretty good. That would actually be pretty good.
I just fondly looking at it. And like call it determination points or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Papa points.
No, so the way you get your health back is you find a wall, any wall, you stand next to it, and then your guy will lean up next to it to catch his breath, and
That's
then
so
like
fucking stupid.
his gunshot wounds.
Why
will
would
start-
you know?
And his gunshot wounds will disappear. And by the way, that is nowhere in the instruction manual.
Yeah.
That game doesn't have loading screen tips,
That's so fucking
and no one
funny.
explains that to you. So it's just like,
That's really funny.
yeah. But that's how I learned. So.
That's funny.
I like
And
it.
I didn't even know.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what they say.
Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
The other half is Nicolas Cage.
Or Keanu.
No, he did a movie called Knowing. So
Oh. Yeah. So that's my new segment. I want to pull out every now and then.
that's pretty
I
funny.
like it.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
Didn't even
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things that I've played a game for a while and just like realized they're whole another mechanic and just fucking facepalm.
Yeah, I think that's happened to everybody.
know. Yeah. Because sometimes games don't explain themselves very well.
Sometimes I don't read very well.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
That's also true. And you're just like, shut up, tutorial.
I know this already.
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna tell me.
I've played a
I do that
Fire
a lot.
Emblem
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
that a lot.
Because tutorials are so samey a lot of
Yeah.
the time, and so you don't always expect there to be like a little hidden mechanic that are going to tell you about.
Well, there's also just a lot of things in Fire Emblem games to to take care of and care about and handle.
Yeah.
And I feel like compared to the two other Fire Emblem games, like I am trying to remember the name of the other Fire Emblem game that was on the not the 3DS, but the DSi.
DSi or just DS?
It might have been just DS, but I feel like I played it on-
DSi implies that it was an eShop thing,
Oh,
like DSi Wear, right?
or
uh,
it just utilized the camera in some
yeah.
capacity.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Well, it came out when the DSi was out.
Mm.
Because I played it on one.
Mm.
So, do with that what you will.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but yeah, no, there's a lot of like
What is that
just
even from?
just
I don't
more
know.
things that I
I don't
like,
even know.
I said,
No, I didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
I think I don't even know is a good name for
Yeah, I
it.
think that's better
I didn't even
actually.
know.
It's growing on me.
because it's what you say at the, I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We should call it I'm fucking stupid.
Shanae, for this episode, I'm gonna need to have a picture of you shrugging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna be in one of the panels of the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Let's
Now-
chop that off.
Yeah.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Let's clip that out.
Yeah, there we go.
all right. Well, that's our show for today. You can find us on most podcast providers, venues,
Yeah, get high in your own supply.
Yeah, podcast liquidators.
Yeah.
podcast liquidities.
Yeah,
That's right.
podcast liquidities.
All right. Well, bye guys.
Later.